Hi everyone. English 1302, week 8. Can you believe we're already into week 8 of the fall semester? It certainly seems to be flying by. But I want to take a few minutes and kind of go over some basic reminders, just make sure we're all operating in the same arena. Your second quiz will open this Thursday, October the 17th at 8 a.m. and it will close at 11:55 p.m. There'll be 50 multiple choice questions over the reading assignments listed under week 8, week 7, week 6, and week 5. And those will, of course, include the vocabulary words, not only the elements of formalism, the parts of formalism like plot, setting, style, and antagonists, but also the forms of literary criticism, like historical criticism, feminist criticism, economic theory, etc., etc. So be sure you know the vocabulary words as well as authors' titles, main ideas, and characters of the short stories listed. Now remember, we took off two. We're not going to do Volar, and we're not doing um, Flowers for Algernon. I took it off, so I forgot what it was. But anyway, so yeah, you'll need to know authors' titles, main ideas of those short stories, plus the vocabulary words. And that's Thursday, October 17th, anytime. Now, if you want to, you can come in and take your test in person with my Monday night class. We'll be taking it on Monday. It looks like October 21st at 7 p.m. And just show up. I'll provide a Scantron for you if you'll bring a number 2 pencil. Okay, on Sunday, October the 20th, this Sunday, your final draft of the R2 project is due. I want to make sure that you're clear on that assignment. First of all, be sure that your thesis, which is the last sentence of the introduction, clearly answers the research question. You can use my words if you want to, or come up with your own, but make sure that it basically says the main reason why college in America isn't free, or the main benefit of a gap year is. Now you'll notice that we have narrowed the topic because the topic asks what are the main reasons, what are the benefits. I don't expect you to cover 5 or 6 or 7 different benefits or 5 or 6 or 7 different reasons. Find one reason. Now, here is the here's the fun part. As you do your research, most experts are going to have their own opinion about the different benefits of a gap year or the different reasons for why college isn't free. What you need to do is to do enough research to find out, to figure out on your own, based on your own ideas, which one is the best reason, which one is the main reason, which one is the right reason. And then just basically convince your reader. Now, it's not written in first person. You don't want to say, this essay will talk about, or I want to explore, or I will explain. No first person, just focus on the topic. But be sure that your thesis, last sentence introduction, clearly answers one of these two research questions. Look at the first one. What is the main reason why college in America isn't free? In parentheses, I put like high school just to help you kind of understand what the topic is asking. A lot of people would say, and a lot of research will show, hey, college is free. There's so much financial aid out there. There's federal aid. There's student loans. There are programs at a lot of community colleges. There are colleges like College of the Ozarks that doesn't charge tuition, but none of those are free like high school. High school is entirely taxpayer funded, and you don't have to apply or be awarded scholarships or work for your tuition. It's just all free. Now, be careful because each state gets to regulate how they fund higher education, in fact, how they run higher education. So be careful because Texas funds theirs differently than Tennessee, which is different than Alaska, which is way different than Florida, and California is totally off the wall. So be sure that you explain which state you're talking about. If you want, you can focus just on one state. Texas is a great example. You can talk about 2 or 3 different states, or you could try to do kind of a, I don't know if this would be possible or not, but like an amalgam of all 50 states in the United States. That might be too broad. I would focus on either one or just a handful. And just basically what the experts say why college isn't free. Now, you're going to have to think this out. You're going to have to apply some logic because some of the published experts will tell you, well, we can't make college free because that would make it worth less. That would make it value less. Um, if anybody can go for any reason, well, making it free doesn't mean that each college doesn't get to set admission standards. Every college could set, 1250 SAT scores or, 16 AP scores or whatever entrance exam, whatever instrument they're using to determine eligibility. They can set their own criteria. So just be careful as you read and read enough so that you get a good understanding of the topic instead of just going with the first one or two that you see. Same thing is true with the benefits of a gap year. Okay, remember you want to narrow that down to just like what you think is the one main gap year. If you happen to take a gap year, congratulations, way to go. But you probably don't want to use your own experiences because unless your experiences can apply to 10 million other college students, academically, it's not going to have a lot of scholarly validity. It's not going to apply to enough people. The sample size isn't large enough to mean a lot to academic researchers. So instead of saying, well, when I took my gap year, this is what I did and this is how it worked out for me. Uh, no, not unless you can put it in the form of a study or the form of a large, put it in a larger context. Instead, rely on your research because again, you only need two sources for this. And let me just make it really easy for you. You want to pick the best sources based on authority, depth, timeliness, and citation. And the best way to find those sources is to use an academic search engine. As you know, there are general search engines like Google, but there are also search engines used just primarily for academic scholarly research. Google Scholar, Google \scholar.com is a wonderful thing, and it will find sources that meet all of our criteria and throw in a few others, and it will tell you the number of citations, the year it was published, other works by the same author or authors, and just really help you. Now, a student asked me, do we have to pay for this? No. In fact, please don't pay for anything. College is already expensive enough. You don't need to be paying for subscriptions to scholarly journals. If it's something that's behind a paywall and you can't access it, keep looking, go on and find something else. But remember, you only need one sentence from each source. So if you're just finding an abstract or an introduction or maybe a sample chapter, that's probably all that you need. And again, two sources. You want to make sure they're fairly recent. Make sure it has an author. If it doesn't have an author, please don't use it. And make sure to cite it and cite it correctly. In MLA, of course, we have a short direct quote, and then you're going to put the author's last name and the page number. When we're doing drama, we put the author's last name, act, line, and scene number. This is a little different. We use the author's last name and page number. Now, most of these are online sources, and so if you want to just use the author's last name, you can. If you want to either print out or just like mentally print out your copy and think, well, this would probably be on page 1, or this would probably show up somewhere on page 2, you can do that if you want to, just to make it look right. I will post a sample paper for you to look at. I will post a link to the MLA guide for formatting to show you what the works cited page should look like. Please follow those closely. It's just one of those things that you got to get it right, just like your heading. Last name first. I had a couple of people last time put my name on their papers. Don't put my name on your paper. Put your name, of course. Your last name first, your first name last. English 1302, 152, or 156. The date, October 20th, 2024. And then give me a title. Do not put the main reasons why college isn't free or the main benefit of a gap year. That's the topic. As your title, you want a very, very brief version of what your research found. For example, if the main reason college isn't free is because of, I suspect it's politics. I suspect politicians just don't have the desire, the will to stand up and say, we got to make college free. So, politicians are the main reason why college isn't free, or politics, political will is the main reason. But give me a summary. This is not a mystery, murder mystery. So you want to go ahead and tell me in the title, very, very briefly, in the thesis, what the research shows, then in the body paragraphs, then again in the conclusion. So you're basically telling me what your research has shown you in 3 or 4 different ways. Um, Remember, the introduction is just a brief little intro to the topic. You can provide some history if you want to, but it mostly serves as a parking spot for your thesis, which is the last sentence. Then your body paragraphs are going to outline your research in order, in some sort of logical order, like emphatic order. That works well. And then your conclusion sums up, restates, or renames with no new ideas. Nothing new in the conclusion. And again, very short. Then the works cited page is a separate page, but it's still in the same document. It's not a separate document. And the easy way to do that, if you're using Microsoft Word, is just Control Enter. You get to the last sentence of your paper, you hit period, and you hit Control Enter, and it will create a hard page break. Much easier than trying to tab down or hit return down, because that's a formatting headache. So yeah, please use Time New Roman, 12-point font, and please double space your paper. If you don't double space, if you don't use the correct font or font size, it's hard to grade and it's hard to make comments on. So follow the formatting guidelines. Again, follow the sample in the handout called Format or Format 2, and make your paper look as good as it sounds. You're going to have lots of good ideas. And where we're at right now in the writing process is the revision stage. You are revising, you are changing your paper, but you want to stick with the same topic. You don't want to change the topic at this point. So stick with the same topic you've chosen. You're probably going to stick with the same main idea, just toss aside a few of those extra ideas that you don't really need. Pick one of the ideas. If your original paper had, your rough draft had 2 or 3 or 4 ideas listed in the thesis, just pick one of those and zero in on it. We do this because it's the next step to getting us to the R3 project, which is our big project this semester. So if you'll follow the samples, I'm fixing to post a PowerPoint for you under research writing module, and a sample paper so you can see what it looks like, you can follow the steps, and hopefully answer all your questions. Please don't wait till the last minute. If you haven't gotten a good start on this already, go ahead and do so now. Sunday night will come before you know it. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me from any email account to jfly@southplains.college.edu. Please remember that when you click reply to those emails that come from Blackboard, they go to an account called do not reply at blackboard.com. When you message me on Blackboard, I do get those, but unless I'm sitting at my office computer, they're hard to answer. They're hard to reply to. And if you tell Blackboard Messenger to send me an email, that comes from another do not reply, and that's an even bigger headache. So just a quick, simple email, either from your SPC account or your Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or your AOL account. I don't care. Just send me an email, and don't forget to put your class in the subject line. And if you can make your question really clear, especially like a yes/no format, I can get back to you really quickly, get those questions answered, and get you on your way. And good luck. I look forward to hearing from you soon.